So you've got a few 100,000 rabbits to cook, and you need a cooker. You find my video, Season
Alright,
720p,
if you
and
sum
immediately find the 1080 version linked below because you have standards. So you hit like, you hit subscribe, and you grab that link in the description below. Of course, you never actually need the tutorial in the first place, you just needed the world download. You install the world, load it up, and find every observer to be bugged. As you do, you find the cords, select them all, and replace all the observers with down, east, north, south, soup, up, and west. I'll provide a text file with all these commands in the description below. If you load it up into Notepad++, you can easily replace all of the cords with whatever you need. Next, you load in all of Jaffe's rabbits to find that the thing doesn't even work in 1.14 plus. Hell, it doesn't even start. So you go in, replace the dust with a comparator that's supposed to be there. Then you put that torch back that wasn't there for some reason. Then you realize that it still doesn't start. That's because the fuel override was inverted in the world download for the tutorial world. So you go down there, put the redstone block where it's supposed to be, and give it another shot. Now that it's going, you see the issue. These minecarts aren't going anywhere. So you shut it back down and get to work. First, you're going to want to clear up all of these minecarts. You can put them back later. Once the rails are clear, you can begin by replacing the old system. In the original design, the pistons pushed up, glitching the minecarts down, and that got fixed, so we retract the pistons by letting the minecarts fall. Now we begin replacing the pistons by pushing them in from the side. This should be pretty easy and should be mirrored on the other side. Throughout this video, you'll see me doing things a little bit out of order, but in the end, it should be pretty easy to understand, and a world download for the updated version will be provided in the link below. Next, we begin replacing the redstone at the other end. Feel free to slow this down if you need be. Just copy exactly as I do here. You'll note that the first time I place the torch, it sends a 1-tick pulse through the repeaters. This will bug out the piston that it powers, and the second time around I actually break the repeater first. I would recommend breaking the repeater first just so you don't screw up your system, but it shouldn't be too big of a change in the end. Again, all the redstone over here will be duplicated on the other side, and we can check that out now. As you can see, it's the same thing as before, but of course I make the same mistake of updating that piston again. That'll cause me issues later, but won't be too hard to fix. And I should note that the button is actually necessary, so that does redirect the wiring so that the piston doesn't fire when it shouldn't. It's kind of weird how it works in that it won't actually power the piston, but when the piston gets retracted by the other redstone, it won't actually unextend. It's a whole thing, but the button is necessary. You can also use a detector rail or anything that redirects the signal. Next, we're going to want to move to the midsection where we're just going to replace the old wiring with what you see here. You will have to update the pistons once you place the bud block, but after that, the pistons should work completely fine. Now that you've done all that, you can start replacing your minecarts, but if you turn the system back on, you'll find that there's an issue. We'll need to place 2 more torches on either side of the machine, and that'll basically tell the pistons when to fire which set of minecarts, because you'll see that there are all, at any given time, 4 minecarts in the middle of the room, and they are separated into 2 sets of 4. So this torch will basically regulate that. Now if you fly on below, you'll see all of Jaffe's rabbits spitting out of the furnaces nice and cooked and ready to go. I would highly recommend loading these into shulker boxes and giving them to him just to let him know what happened here today. That way he can learn from his mistakes in the past. Also, just one more tip, you might have to replace some of the minecarts depending on how this works. You'll see some footage here later on of me actually replacing some of these. It's not really a big deal, you just kind of have to break down the stack and put them back into place. Everything should work completely fine once a little bit of a reset occurs. And now the furnace array should be working completely fine. If you have any issues or comments, join our Discord link below. The technical Minecraft section is a fantastic place to ask for these things. If you want me to try and bug fix anything in the comment section of YouTube, YouTube is historically bad at giving me any notifications to those kind of conversations. So if you really want to share pictures and get some real help, joining our Discord is a fantastic place. If you want to talk about anything in general, our Discord is a fantastic place to join. So I hope this works for you guys. Hope you learned a new trick with that observer update thing, because that will break pretty much anything that you're loading into new versions of Minecraft. It's a constant bug that plagues a lot of worlds. But that's it for me, you guys. Thanks for watching.